Hey everybody! Welcome in. As you can see, today's episode is a bit different, and yes, I do have this thing on the side here, totally not to just cover up the fact that I got some chaos going on in the background. But anyways, today I wanted to have a discussion about horror games, and this is going to be a lot different than the stuff I usually post on the channel, but recently, as you guys are probably aware, I've been playing Resident Evil 2. On Saturday, I went to play Resident Evil 2, and I only lasted about 12 minutes into the game before I pretty much just like rage quit. They introduced like the Mr. X character, who's obviously unkillable, and I kind of went on a little rant about this on TikTok, so if you saw that over there, you probably have an idea of what I'm going to say. But yeah, basically the introduction of like an unkillable character that can basically follow you around anywhere on the map is kind of a mechanic that I personally don't like in horror games, just because I'm already bad at them, and I feel like it doesn't make the game scary, it just adds a frustration to the game. I was more worried about like getting cornered and frustrated about the fact that I had no ammo rather than being scared of like, I feel like the spookiness of the game. So I guess today I just wanted to kind of talk about my thoughts on horror games as far as like with the difficulty factor. Just that I feel like with certain games, I've noticed like with Resident Evil 2 and Alan Wake, I noticed that there actually wasn't any kind of setting where you could help yourself be able to get more ammo, and I find in these games where you end up, you know, relying on an ammo system, they're just like, for some reason, barely going to give you any ammo. Apparently you're supposed to, I guess, go into these games and know that you have to save up your ammo. But if you're like me and you just start these games and you're not aware of that, that's something that, you know, later on down the road into the game, you know, you could be like 2 to 3, 4 hours in and then you're kind of screwed. I had this issue in Alan Wake. There was the ammo system and the battery system. They just weren't giving me enough of either. Now, Alan Wake is a very old game, even though they remastered it. The difficulty setting was pretty much whatever you decide, which I set myself on normal difficulty, which I'll admit was probably a mistake. I wasn't able to switch to the easy difficulty setting without restarting the whole game. At that point, I would think I was already 2, maybe 4 hours in, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna go through everything all over again just to see if easy mode actually helps me. And I spoke to a lot of people about this game, about my frustrations with the game not giving me enough ammo or batteries, and making it kind of just not enjoyable for at least someone like me that doesn't play a whole lot of horror games to get into. Like, I wanted to play it, obviously, because it is such a beloved game, and I do have a lot of appreciation for horror games, but unfortunately, it's something that I probably won't ever go back to. Now, let's talk about Resident Evil 2. So, I don't know if they fixed this issue later on with the Resident Evil games, but Resident Evil 2, I think I can actually tell you. Should have had that up. So, I was 6 hours into the game. Granted, that's on Steam, so that time isn't accurate. I think the actual in-game timer said I was about like 4, maybe almost 5 hours in. I was playing through Claire's side of the story, but like I said, I did run into the issue where when they introduced Mr. X, I was already at a point where I was constantly roaming around the map. I never had ammo. I was constantly looking for it. They introduced the Mr. X character, which I found out can pretty much go anywhere on the map except for a few of the safe rooms. And then I literally couldn't get to a room on the map where there was ammo without like getting cornered, just getting frustrated and wanting to give up. Now, granted, that's like, you know, the easy solution, and I said this over on TikTok, I'm sure, would just be like, well, Lindy, don't play those games like if you're bad at them. And I'll admit, I'm not good at horror games. I never said I was. And maybe this is just like me bitching, but I can't help but feel like I don't know. I feel like there should be a setting in horror games that, you know, if you switch to easy mode, which I did do with Resident Evil 2, it should have some effect on like the ammo drops and the loot drops. Mainly just the ammo is my main complaint. Because I don't run into these problems with other horror games like Little Nightmares and Layers of Fear. Now, those games don't have any kind of ammo. So I guess what I'm saying is I found it actually very difficult to play horror games that have an ammo system, because it seems like they don't want to give you any ammo, and I guess you're supposed to just conserve. But I feel like that's also kind of I feel like that also just makes it like even harder, especially for new people to the series, whether it be someone like me that's not particularly good at horror games, not particularly good at like games that require aiming and stuff. It's also like, it's a zombie game. The zombies you have to shoot like multiple times. There's different kind of zombies that require like more ammo. Sure, you can like run past enemies, and I've done that before, but I can't help but feel like there's a certain point where, you know, going around just never having ammo doesn't make the game scary for me. It just like adds this unnecessary like frustration for me. And also, as far as like with the Mr. X character, I understand it's like a reoccurring kind of character to have in the Resident Evil games. I'm not saying that Resident Evil is a bad game by any means. I actually really wanted to like this game, and I was pretty much enjoying it until they introduced Mr. X, and I was also at a point where there's like no ammo, and going on to easy mode didn't help. I don't know if this is something they fix later on in the Resident Evil series. Like, I know Resident Evil is obviously like an older game, they remastered it. I don't know if they changed the difficulty settings. So I don't know if maybe in the other games they actually give you an option where it's like, hey, you'll get more ammo, or zombies take less, you know, bullets or something like that. But basically, this is just like a long-winded way of saying that I just wish horror games, I guess my wish for future horror games, and you know, this isn't to say I'm not going to play horror games anymore, but my wish for horror games is that more devs would be open to the idea of having accessibility features, having like the difficulty options of like, you know, if people want to just focus maybe on the story side, or just want to have like help as far as like ammo, if ammo is going to be something in your game that like you're not, you know, isn't going to be a thing that's given out a lot. I know there's like a lot of like adventure games, like story games, like Uncharted. I don't know if Uncharted's a good example, maybe like Last of Us or something, where, you know, you can go onto easy mode and they would give you more ammo and that sort of thing. So again, I'm just trying to use examples of games that I've actually played. So I'm just saying, like, I feel like this is something that horror game devs could introduce into their games, and it doesn't hurt anyone. It would actually help make, you know, new people that are entering into their game, entering into their series, be able to like have more of options as far as like actually being able to get through the entirety of the game. Keep in mind, like in Resident Evil games, there's like the boss fights and stuff too. So I get like the conserving ammo part, but like on the boss fights, I'm just like unloading into the boss. I'm not thinking, oh, I have to conserve my ammo because after this, who knows when I'll have ammo again. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with Resident Evil 2. I'm not uploading the video that was like the 12 minutes of me giving up on it. I don't think I will upload that just because I was super frustrated and I literally made no progress. I would love to finish Resident Evil 2. I don't know like when or how I'm going to do that, since I feel like I've kind of gotten myself into this weird spot in the game. So I might end up like recording it over here on YouTube. I don't think I'm going to be streaming it over on Twitch anymore, just because at the moment I definitely need a break from the game. And I guess my only other thought on this is I've seen this happen to use a game that didn't have like an ammo system. the Viviette game, that was like a indie horror game. I actually ended up like not finishing that game because they also introduced a feature of like a character that is like unkillable and can chase you around the map. So maybe that's my bad for playing these games not realizing there's gonna be characters like that. But anyways, I guess to sum this all up, and like I said, maybe this has just been like my 10-minute rant. And for that, I apologize. But also, I just want to open up the conversation of like difficulty in horror games. Are they too hard? Are we not having enough like features to make it more accessible to people that are new to the games, or people that like, you know, want to play more horror games? Like, I'm always open to the idea of expanding like the library of horror games I have. I do want to play games like Resident Evil and Alan Wake and those sort of things, but I just do wish they had better like difficulty settings as far as like if you're, you know, new into the genre. I see this like in a lot of like roguelikes. They'll have like the easy mode for like, hey, if you're somebody that's never really played like a roguelike game, you can go on to like easy difficulty and it'll be a lot more forgiving than like if you were on normal or like medium difficulty. So I'm not saying that these games don't have an easy mode to them, they obviously do. I'm just saying that I feel like they need to have more, I guess, benefits that come with like the easy difficulty, because, you know, if the problem is the game just doesn't want to give you ammo, which is a problem I've had in like Resident Evil and Alan Wake. I'm not saying like they have to give you all the ammo, but I do feel like, you know, it's not scary when you have to run around and just get ammo. So anyways, that's been my event for the day. Let me know what you guys think. If anybody else has played any kind of games, like big games like this, where you feel like you kind of hit a wall in terms of like the difficulty. Yeah, that's gonna be it for me for now. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and other than that, we'll be back to our normal shenanigans in the next video. Peace!